What are these photos about?
So this is a collage of a little bit of a history of the organization.
Do you usually make your own research or you rely on the data of some other consultants or companies?
I think it's a combination. So we do make our own research, and that could be obviously not 100% accurate.
Everything that we see here is produced by you.
Yes, everything.
I feel really short when standing to Manish. What is your? You are
I'm
almost
6'4". I would recommend go and learn something new.
Do you have any cryptocurrency yourself?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Game Changers YouTube channel. Today we are meeting one of the top Dubai SME CEOs. His name is Manish Hir and he is the founder of Hira Industries. Let's have a look and see what he has inside his office. Hey Manish, sorry to interrupt you.
How's it going?
How are you?
Very well done.
Finally we arrived to your place, and we want to have a look what you have in your office.
Sure.
How often do you use it? Why it's here?
Well, one of the things that that we believe in, or at least that I believe in, is that you need to have an active life.
Right.
That's what gives me a lot of energy, and I don't want to be a person who's just sitting on a desk all day. So taking a break sometimes, getting on the treadmill. I do enjoy running. I don't do a lot of the running here, but I do let's say brisk walking, just to get some blood flow, energy through the
How
day.
often do you use it daily?
I don't use it daily. I wish I did use it daily, but I do exercise daily. Here, I probably use it about 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
Let's say post lunch about 3 or 4 p.m.
For how many?
For probably about half an hour. Get on there, do some calls.
Right.
When we're changing our new office, we're building an office right now where this particular office will be completely changed next year.
Right.
So in that new office, it will be a full gym in the office.
Yeah.
And that gym will include a great facility for everyone here in the office to be more active, come earlier if they wish to.
Yeah.
They'll have showers in the gym. People can come and work out before they start their work. So to make things a little bit more easier for them.
All right. What are these books about? Why do you have it so many here, and what do you use it? Do you read it for?
So this is something from the past, and of course there's a little bit of the present.
Yeah.
When I first started off in the organization, I had to learn a lot of things which I did not know.
Yeah.
My background in education was international business and marketing.
Yeah.
When I got into the business here, I realized that I want to do something. I need to change something in the business, which means I want to change our business from a distribution model of business to a manufacturing model of business.
So previously it was purely distribution.
Yes. So the family business legacy has always been distribution.
Right.
I came into the business, myself and my brother, who are co-CEOs. We believe that the future lies in manufacturing in this country and for us.
Yeah.
But we didn't know anything about manufacturing.
Yeah.
We had to learn it.
Yeah.
How do you? We're not engineers.
Yeah.
So a lot of that came from books, experiences, traveling, seeing factories around the world, understanding how do you actually produce a product versus just move boxes and sell products.
So, is there any book that you read daily? Like it's your, so to say,
daily go-to?
Yeah, daily go-to book.
No, not really. I mean, I like to have new content all the time. These were some of the books that helped me understand how to get onto the platform of manufacturing.
Yeah.
Today, obviously, as you evolve, as you change, your needs are changing every day in terms of how do you educate yourself or what do you want to educate yourself in. Today, obviously, it's more about the stage where we are in today. This was the era where we went into from distribution to manufacturing. The era that we are in today for growth of the business is global. Is to become a global business. So here is basically where we stock and we stock most of our products that are manufactured by us, and then they're distributed around the UAE.
Everything that we see here is produced by you?
Yes, everything is produced by our factories. It's sent over here just for storage and just-in-time services for our customers, so that they get their products immediately.
What is the capacity of this warehouse here?
So this is a 75,000 square foot warehouse right now.
Wow.
The factories where we do have most of the factories, there we occupy around 1.5 million square feet of factories where you'll see all the machines and people really churning out all the fantastic products that we sell everywhere in the world.
I think it's very difficult to manage so many factories which are spread now worldwide, right?
Yeah.
So you have factories not only in the UAE but in the Southern Asia, right?
In India, yes,
India?
yes.
What is the secret? How to manage so many places?
I think the secret is getting good people. I think once you have good people in place, life can become a lot easier. Management can become a lot easier. Proper structures, proper people, and constant learning and re-educating. So what is your expectation out of people? If they lack it, let's find a way to fulfill that bridge, that lack in education.
The question from entrepreneurs, from
Yeah.
small entrepreneurs like me. How to find the best people? It's very difficult to find the people who really can help you and pull your business upwards,
Sure.
pull your business forward. The question of human resources is one of the most difficult questions for young entrepreneurs. Can you give advice to these people who are watching us, how to find the best talents?
Sure. Well, I like to experience share. So I'll experience share with you guys right now. We have 6 managing directors in the organization. Every one of them has started from the company when we were a very, very small organization. And today they are themselves running pretty large organizations within the organization. So I don't think that, personally for us, what's worked is that we've helped the talent grow within the organization. Obviously, they were not built managing directors when they walked into our business. They came from backgrounds of sales or even operations. But today they are managing large businesses within our organization. So we believe in getting people, helping people grow within the organization, giving them the tools to grow if they need it. Like what we have done is that as we were growing, we kept on giving them education platforms where they felt that they were weak. So if they felt that they were weak in finance, we sent them to London Business School for finance. If they felt that they were weak in operations, we send them to a great school for operations. So this is a constant investment that you need to make in your people in order for them to grow and help your business grow. But what I'll show you some of the history. So this could be interesting here.
Wow. We have lots of photos here.
Yep.
What are these photos about?
So this is a collage of a little bit of a history of the organization.
Right.
The founder of the business, who was my father, who founded the business in 1980. Some of the memories of the history of the business life that we've had. So back in the days when he's founded the company, it was, he was a first generation entrepreneur.
Right.
He's the one who founded the business.
Yeah.
So some of the memories of how the business grew, at what stage the businesses were in. Obviously, business was, all about people, about, what we did at the trade shows, who we interacted with, how me and my brother were exposed into the business at a very young age, how we always saw being an entrepreneurial family, you obviously have a lot more talk on the dinner table and within the family about business in general. So it is definitely just a little bit of a collage of the history of the organization,
right.
How we grew from a very small organization back in Sharjah.
This is how it all started. So
That's
you
right.
started from Sharjah, yeah?
That's correct. That's correct. And that down there is my father with one of the delivery vans that we had back in those days.
Can you tell me a little bit about this picture?
Yeah, that's not real. So that's
This is not
obviously
real,
just
yeah.
that is definitely not a real picture. That's just a fun picture.
Yeah.
This one is very interesting right here, where we're with some of the staff. That's myself and that's my brother. As you can see, being a family business, you were involved in a lot of the business events as a family from a very young stage.
I wanted to ask you, like, if you come have a look. This is, how old are you here? Like 3, 4, 5?
Probably 5, yeah.
5. How to become a business partner of Manish? Whom should I be?
So in our businesses, so we have 6 different businesses. Out of the 6, 2 are actually joint ventures. We are obviously, when we're looking for growth in our businesses, there are opportunities for partnerships.
Yeah.
But partnerships within that make sense. Partnerships that make sense, strategic partnerships that can add value to our core businesses. I think that's what we're mainly looking at.
Logical question. Did you ever think about different kind of businesses? You're currently in the industry. Maybe you thought about real estate, about services, trading.
Sure.
Do you think it's important to concentrate on one business, or you're like multi-business attitude person?
So I think in Dubai, Dubai is definitely a land of opportunity, and it's a young country. So you'll come across many opportunities for business growth, and not just in one field, in many fields. Whether it was in the early 2000s, it wasn't just construction, it was retail, it was property, it was everything that was growing. For us as a family, we've stayed focused. We've stayed focused in our business and our strategy that we're going to serve in the B2B space of building construction products, and we want to be focused in on that rather than going and getting involved in retail or F&B or property. Although there was many opportunities along the way while we were growing, that was also very tempting.
Right.
But we stayed focused in terms of what we wanted to do, because we wanted to make sure that our financial resources were working towards our core business.
Okay, so now is my favorite part, the hot seat questions. Today we have hot palit questions because we are sitting on pallets. The questions will be quick. You need to give quick answers, but not necessarily short. Are you ready?
Sure.
Let's go. Dubai or hometown?
Dubai.
Why?
I'm born here. This is a great place.
Right. Who is the best businessman in the history of planet?
There's too many. I mean, but I don't have one businessman. It's for me, it'd be Richard Branson and Elon Musk.
Right. Do you think you can meet them? Do you have such goal maybe to meet them, to talk?
I would love to meet them. Hopefully someday it will all be possible and I will bump into them somewhere.
Right. Which is the best city in the UAE?
Dubai, for sure.
The worst ever decision that you made in business and in life?
In life, I think it was maybe the opportunity of doing my MBA, which I didn't do earlier on. So I'm trying to make that up by doing more and more courses every year.
Right. And in business?
In business, I think the only wrong decision I would suggest that I think that I've really made is when we entered a new market, we rushed into it by not hiring the right people, which costed us too much time to enter that market and made it very expensive as well.
And what would be your advice not to have the same experience?
So don't rush into it. Take your time. Getting it right from day one, if you can, is obviously better. So hence it's worth waiting for it.
What was the happiest moment in your life?
By far when I had my first child.
Yeah. Family business, is it a blessing or a curse?
Oh, it's a blessing.
Tell us a little bit about the awards. What are these awards for?
So some are going back from 2005 when we were just starting up, when we were just having. Some are from very old relationships in place from like 20-25 years. These are just some accomplishments. So some are where I'm part of 2 basically business platforms. One is an entrepreneur organization, which is a great platform for any entrepreneur to be in, to share experiences with like-minded entrepreneurs.
Right.
So the entrepreneur organization is a global chapter, and in UAE they have about 90 members.
Ah, okay.
Recently, I'm also part of another business platform called the Young Presidents Organization, which is the YPO. So these are basically memories of when I've served on the board of these business platforms, and my journey through these sort of business platforms.
Nice. Okay, let's have a look at the desk. Actually, it's almost empty.
Yeah.
I can just predict that Manish drinks lots of water to stay healthy. He has a calculator, of course, to count all of this stuff. 2 phones, definitely. small notebook and a very large screen. That's it, and the phone. You try to have it simple, not to overload your table.
Yeah, I mean, try to work obviously less with paper, more on screen.
Right.
I think the
Are you a fan of digitalization?
yes, definitely. Yeah. So digitalization is not just here, but as what we're going to be doing in the business as well. So we're doing a complete digital transformation on the business level, where we want to be early adopters on the IT platforms.
Right.
And how on a manufacturing level can we adopt
Yeah.
digital transformation and smart manufacturing.
Look, I feel really short when standing to Manish. What is your? You are
I'm
almost
6'4".
6'4".
Yeah.
So your favorite sports was basketball.
Basketball.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why when you were in Boston University, I think that you were playing too often the basketball.
Actually, I was actually pretty short compared to most people in the US
Okay.
for basketball, but I did play a lot of basketball in high school.
Right.
And I did do high school in the US as well for some time, and that's where I really learned basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
You told me about the educational platform that you have. At what stage did you decide to implement it? Like, what was the reason behind that? When did you understand that now is the right time for this platform?
So as we were growing, we found that not only, I mean, we were lacking, as in even the shareholders, let's say myself and my brother who now run the business, that we have to educate ourselves to manage this fast growing business. So that means we have to educate ourselves every time. But that's not just us. When you're having a team of people now managing your company, they're going to have those same requirements as we did. That means as their departments are growing, as they're growing, they also need to educate themselves to manage a larger business as time goes by. So I think that was very visible, that now we needed a different skill set to manage a business from a 14 people business to 500 to 1,000 to 1,500. This learning is a continuous process. I think by next year, my brother is going for an extensive course at Harvard.
Yeah.
The post year after that, I'm doing the same. And then our team are also constantly re-educating themselves in order to manage this change and adaptability in the business.
So I see more and more entrepreneurs and businessmen who are like never ending students. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
That's right.
And
your thirst for learning has to be very, very strong.
yeah. Can you maybe tell some of your best books that you can recommend to people who want to start business who want to start business? This is one. And two, for people who already run business and help them grow.
Sure. Well, one in particular that I started at a very early stage was in particular to my industry of manufacturing. So that book was called The Goal.
Yeah.
So The Goal was particularly a business on how a plant manager was having issues on delivering quality products and profitable products on time for his shareholders. And he was on the verge of getting his business shut down, his division shut down. So what kind of changes he had to make on the manufacturing, on his manufacturing plant in order to survive.
Yeah.
That was a great book for me because that was at the stage of life I was in.
Yeah.
The second book, which was more recent, and I think it's a great motivational and inspirational book, and it's a true story. So I like true story books because you can relate to them better.
Yeah.
Was Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It was the story of Phil Knight, the founder of Nike.
Yeah.
So very inspirational book. Great how such a large brand, worldwide brand, was founded in an apartment.
Yeah.
And how it grew, how it evolved in such a short span of time.
Yeah.
So very inspirational. You don't have to be a big business all the time. You can be a founder of a business that really can accelerate growth and reach to these kind of places, such as Phil Knight has. The third one is Delivering Happiness by Tony Tsai. Now that's a great book because it has to do with, let's say, management of cultures within an organization. I found that very intriguing. He was a business person who started his business, who was acquired by Amazon for $1 billion. And what set him apart was how weirdly he manages his business in terms of the culture of the business. And it's one of the most unique cultures you can ever find, that at least I've read about from a business point of view. So I think some of these books are inspirational, some of them are educational, and some of them are things that you just want to learn about.
You started being involved into business from the age of 5?
Well, you had the exposure, right?
Yeah.
You had the exposure. You started understanding that, listen, your father is involved in entrepreneurship,
Right.
in managing his business. So you started understanding that from a young age.
Was it interesting for you, like all this business, or you wanted to have some more relaxed time, or you were all like from the very young age involved? Was it your inner call to do business, to continue business, or?
Well, I think it's important to have your time outside the business as well.
Right.
I think it's important that when you graduate, you definitely have some experience out of the business, so that you understand whether you really want the business or not.
Yeah.
And you need to have that exposure of working for at least 3 to 4 years, or at least 5 years outside the business when you graduate, and then you'll be probably at a better stage to make a decision whether you want to get back in the business or you want to even get into business. But if you don't do that, then you won't even know that. Like, for example, if you start a career in marketing, had I done that, or international business, rather than coming into the business after graduation, then you would know that, right?
Do you remember your maybe evening, or it was afternoon, when you were sitting with your father and saying, "Look, Dad, I want to take over your business. I want to be the CEO or the manager of this business"? Do you remember this evening, or what was it about? Can you please share this a little
So for me, it was a bit different. When I graduated, I did have the option to stick around back in the US or come back here.
Okay.
Back into the business, or stick around in the US and work over there. So the reason I chose to come back, and this was no pressure from my dad, because he was like, "You can do what you want," is that I realized that the business was in a struggle.
Right.
So you had a system where you are a family business where your family has supported you all your life until you've graduated.
Right.
And now you see the business in trouble.
Yeah.
So what do you really do? Do you stick around in the US and avoid the business and try to make your own life, or do you come back and try to save the business?
Yeah.
So I decided to at least try and help my father to save the business.
Right.
So for me, it was a bit of it wasn't a conversation of a choice. It was a decision that I think that had to be done.
Let's go there.
Sure.
To check your different certificate. I will just tell our viewers that one of them is about college on business administration. One is from Harvard Business School, and this is the rank number 2 from 2013 from Dubai SMEs. Many people, they say that, especially like big people, they say that you need to have business education. Some people say that you don't need any business education, just go for it and you can succeed.
Sure.
You studied in one of the best world business schools, Harvard Business School.
Yeah.
And you have a very big experience. Can you share your thoughts whether you need it or not?
Sure.
This is question number 1, and question number 2, maybe at some point you need this education, and what is this point about?
Sure. So I graduated from Northeastern University in Boston, and then I did some executive courses in Harvard, which I keep doing time to time.
Yeah.
I think for business, and if you want to get into entrepreneurship, you don't necessarily have to go to business school in order to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, I know many doctors who've converted into entrepreneurship and they've done very well. So it's not necessarily that you must go to business school to be an entrepreneur or be a successful entrepreneur. But when you do decide that you do want to take up entrepreneurship, then I think it is a good idea to refresh your skills, go and learn on the tools that you're going to need to manage this entrepreneurship journey.
Right.
And that perspective, you need to learn some of the business tools.
And can you tell me, like, I know that you first studied in the US, in Boston University, you studied business,
Yeah.
and you came to the real working business. Did this knowledge that you gained really help you here to manage? Did you get this knowledge that helped you to manage to develop business? I know that you started from negative.
Yeah.
Was it sourceful for you, or you still had to learn to get the first-hand experience, and it was absolutely nothing that you learned from the books to the real life?
So I'll tell you one thing. What you learn in university, I think you'll usually forget about most of what you've learned within the first 3 to 4 years when you've graduated.
Right.
And that's why it's important to keep on relearning.
Yeah.
How it helped, how university helped, I think it's more about the experience that it teaches you. It teaches you the experience of, first of all, being independent. So being away from your family, living an independent life, taking care of yourself. These are the things where it attributes to a more longer perspective of life.
Yeah.
I think in Boston, in particular, when I was studying over there in Northeastern University, it was because it was very similar to Dubai in terms of Boston being a place where you had exposure to all the cultures coming from all over the world, to so many universities in Boston. You got very used to interacting with people from many different backgrounds, cultures, network with people from across the world. I think that experience was phenomenal. Today in our organization, we have 26 nationalities. We have to adapt to 26 different backgrounds and cultures, and also go and employ people from around on those parts of the world, do business in different parts of the world. And I think that is what college would really teach you, is the adaptability, the cross-cultural adaptability.
Nice. Let's have a look what we have on the premises. A soldier who doesn't want to be a general is a bad soldier. What do you think about businessmen? If a businessman doesn't want to be a billionaire, is he a bad businessman? Or what are the main goals of businessmen in your opinion?
I think in business, everybody does want growth. Wants financial growth, wants success. But for us, it's not about we're not working for the money. It's more about the challenge.
Yeah.
And I think it's more about the challenge and the ride. When we are in our business, we're looking at the opportunities that are ahead of us, the global opportunities, rather than having a number in mind that we would like to achieve. For us, it's more about there's an opportunity that's going to come along with a lot of challenges to fulfill. That journey to get there and fulfill those challenges and those opportunities is what we're here for, rather than achieving a top line number in place. This is our model of business. We don't really go after just looking at a top line growth or where you want to become in terms of a number.
You are doing manufacturing.
Yeah.
You are doing like industrial business, right?
That's right.
What do you think about service, like business of services, providing services, and business of trading? Do you think it is more difficult to run manufacturing than services and trading companies, or vice versa?
I think every business has its own challenges. Whether you're manufacturing, whether you're trading, whether you're a service-based business, the challenges in a business, in the end of the day, are very similar. You have to manage a bunch of people. You have to deliver a lot of value for your customers, and hence your business can survive. So there are a lot of similarities, but they are in different industries. I wouldn't say one is more difficult than the other. I just think that they do have differences within the industries for sure. But in the end of the day, every business has its own set of challenges.
Right. If you just started now, what would you do?
Well, if I just started now, for me personally, I would still do the same thing. I love what I do. I know what I'm doing right now. I love what I'm doing right now. I'm passionate what I'm doing right now, which is manufacturing B2B products for the building and construction business. I find that very intriguing. I'm traveling all around the world and have setting up teams globally,
Yeah.
and I'm really enjoying the ride. So I don't think I would change anything. If I had to do it all over again, I would still do what I'm doing right now.
If you started in your home country, do you think it will be easier or more difficult to start the very same nature of business, or what are your ideas about it?
So for me, I was born in Dubai,
Yeah.
and for me this is home.
Yeah.
I'm originally from India,
Yeah.
and we did start in India now about 5 years ago. A couple of manufacturing facilities there.
We want to clarify one thing, that when Manish started and took over the business, it was a negative stage. The business was struggling, and from 14 employees.
Yeah, so when I joined the business, we were, like I mentioned, just to give you a little bit of a history, we were a distribution company focusing on distributing HVAC products. And we were about 14 people.
14 people.
Yeah.
And from 14 people.
So from 14 people, we're in 2018, joined the business in 99. We were fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time and change the strategy of the business to about 1,500 people today. The thing is that when you don't really take over the business, when you come and join a family business, it's more about doing a bit of everything when you're that size of a business. When you're that size of a business, you are the accountant, you are the salesperson, you are the IT, you are everything.
Hello to small entrepreneurs.
Yes, you do everything.
Yeah.
You're depositing checks in the bank, you're managing the sales, you're running around purchasing computers for your office.
That's right.
You're the guy. You're doing everything.
Yes.
And I think that is important. I think that's important because you get a taste of every single part of the business that's required. You're collecting money. You're selling. You're
Doing
kind of
the
making sense
service,
of it.
yeah.
You're kind of making sense of everything and surviving. The most important is you're surviving.
Manish, I want to ask you about your father.
Sure.
I think he has a very big experience in business.
Yes.
Can you tell me about his very, very early days in business? Why he decided to start business? Did he have any experience prior to that? And what it all started from?
So my father moved to Dubai in 1975 from Mumbai, and he was here working with Al Futtaim as an engineer in the HVAC field.
Okay.
He had by then taken between 75 to 80, which was his journey in Dubai when he was working with other companies. So between 75, he came with Al Futtaim. Then he had another opportunity with another HVAC company, which he helped start that HVAC company. And then looking around him, I think he realized that in 1980, that there was a great opportunity over here in this country to start your own business. In the 60s, the UAE had just founded oil. In the 70s, they were starting to now accumulate the oil wealth. And in the 80s, they were really spending it and making a proper plan on how to develop this country.
Right.
So that's when there was a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. How do you manage this work and lifetime balance?
So I do manage to take time off as well. I take about five weeks a week, 5 weeks a year off, split during summer, Easter, and winter breaks. And I try to switch off as much as possible when I am on vacation.
Are you able to switch off completely, like literally switch off the internet, the phone, and like disconnect from the business?
When I'm on vacation, yes, I'll probably devote maybe an hour in the end of the day at the most, but most of the time I will be off because I want to get that quality time in with my kids, get some of the new adventures in with them that they enjoy. My son has started recently enjoying scuba diving.
Right.
I can't take a phone down there, so that's a good thing.
Right. And what do you think about family? How important it is to have family as a support in terms of your business journey?
I think, being a family business, it's detrimental that you have the family support. And I think that is what is actually makes it easier as well. This journey and this challenge of trying to grow your business. When you have the right family systems in place and support in place from your spouse, from your parents, from your brother, it just makes everything a lot more easier. So I think the family support makes a huge difference.
Where do you see yourself and your company in 10 years?
I think in 10 years, we definitely see ourselves in more countries. We definitely see ourselves implemented as a business in a lot more countries than we are today.
Right.
This is an implementation plan that we already have set up. So like I mentioned, we'll definitely be in Southeast Asia, helping our customer base over there with the production facility over there. We will be in the US with the production facility over there. So a more global platform. I think in 10 years, we'll definitely be a much more globalized company than we are even today.
What would you recommend to those people who have 50 or 100,000 dirhams and they don't know what to do with it? They don't have business, but they have this money. What would you recommend to those people?
For me, I would recommend go and learn something new. If you have the funds, I think the experience of learning something new can teach you something for life.
Yeah.
So if you have that kind of money, rather than putting it in, I don't know, cryptocurrencies or whatever else is hot or trendy at the moment, I personally would go and try to fulfill a learning gap that I have.
What do you think about cryptocurrencies in general?
I don't know too much of it, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a new platform to consider, to watch out for. Very volatile at the moment. People have many questions about it.
Yeah.
And I think over time, it'll be a lot more clear whether it is something to stay or go.
Do you have any cryptocurrency yourself?
Nope.
No?
Yeah.
I want to ask you several personal questions. What is your regular daily routine? What time do you wake up? How many hours of sleep do you have? Like, for how many hours you work? When do you go back home? Or maybe sport, club or something?
I wake up usually around 6:30 or 6:45. I will first spend some time with my kids before they rush off to school.
Okay.
And then I'll start preparing and getting ready for the day here at the office. I'm usually in here by 9 a.m. Then I interact with a lot of our sales teams across, HR teams across, and then by about 5 or 5:30, usually every day I'm in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time do you usually go to sleep?
Usually go to bed by 11 o'clock.
11.
Yeah.
So you sleep around 7.
7
hours.
to 7.5 hours. Yeah. And I actually monitor that on my watch. So.
I see. Where do you usually take energy from?
So for me, energy is honestly speaking, my best. When I feel the best is after a good run.
Right.
I feel very energetic.
Okay.
And that's on the physical side. On the mental side, for me, the energy comes from whenever I have done at least 15 to 20 minutes of some meditation or mindfulness. So this is something new that I'm trying to adapt to right now.
Right.
Where with the use of some of the apps that are out there on meditation, sorry. Honestly, it's very refreshing. It is very energizing.
What is your goal for the next 5 years? Personal goal.
My goal for the next 5 years is to implement the strategies we've already put in, to get into the countries that we have already set the ground for. Build the teams in those countries. Repeat, hopefully, a successful business model in these new countries, which we have done so in the past over here. So that's not going to be easy. It does require a lot of travel. But it's also exciting, working in a new environment with new people, new clientele, and new opportunities.
You're very big now, like in terms of business, and you're a very successful person in terms of life. What is your biggest dream? What people like you dream about?
I think The biggest dream, at least for us, your dream is split into a few things. When you talk about a dream on a professional level, on a business level, is what I've mentioned before, is to get this organization on a much more globalized level. That's my biggest dream for the organization. My dream for the family and for myself personally is to be able to do this in my professional life, but at the same time maintain a great relationship and time with my family and enjoy not only the journey of business, but also the journey with my kids, the journey with my wife, with my parents, with my entire family.
And now let's have a look what we have inside the office. Manish, can you please tell us how many people you have here in this particular area and what do they do?
So in this particular area, in this office, this is our central logistics office.
Right.
All of our manufacturing is done in Ras Al Khaimah, and that's where all the factories are. This is the central office where we have sales, accounting, primarily sales and accounting.
Okay.
So majority of the people you see over here are all engaged in sales activity here in this part of the section.
So this is sales and this is also sales.
Yeah. So this is more technical sales, and this is more commercial sales.
How many people do you have here in this area?
So in this area, there'll be about 100 people here.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean here and downstairs in this venue, in this location.
And how many sales do you have, salespeople? 70, 60?
No, in the UAE or in Dubai?
In the UAE.
In the UAE, there'll be about 120.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is more important than money for you?
You know, when you're looking at the business now, it's like I mentioned earlier, we're not in it for the money now. It's more about the challenges and the opportunities. More important than money for me is basically having this vision that we have to fulfill over the next 10 years that we've implemented, and to actually have it fulfilled, to work towards it, and to get it up going. And it's not a monetary vision. It's a vision to grow the organization, to be in places where we're not.
What is your end goal of the business and in life? When you can say that, imagine you are like 55.
Yeah.
So, what is your ideal life?
Well, at the age of 55, ideally, I would love to have more time to myself, and be able to do things even more so that I have not done personally throughout the course of the journey. And I don't know, it could be recreationally, it could be things like taking up golf or something different, something different that you've never done. Could be giving back in sense of time to people in general. Teaching
grandchildren.
Well, yeah, not just within the family, but even outside the family. You know, maybe trying to help people grow their business, teach people something that hopefully that I could share down the line. Having more time for stuff like that, I think that for me would be the end goal, is to have this luxury of time to do these things that I have probably not been able to.
Did you talk to him about his vision that day? Did he ever think that this company will grow so big that it will expand worldwide?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because in fact just yesterday on the phone he was telling me my father is a very encouraging person when it comes to business, especially for myself and my brother. So he will constantly tell us that, look, you guys are doing a great job. And in fact, just yesterday he was saying that I can't imagine that the business has grown that much, and that we are doing business in that many countries. So I don't think so, because I mean, he came from a very humble background, and a very, moderate family. So he started this journey, as I said, in 1980, and then by the second generation, which kind of changed the vision of the business, I don't think he realized that that this would be possible to this level.
Who has been the biggest influence on you?
Internally, it's definitely my father and my brother. I think both have been very great influencers on me.
If you could meet anyone in the world's history, who that person would be?
Probably Mahatma Gandhi. I mean, being Indian, he would be a phenomenal icon to actually sit down and see what's going through your head and
Yeah.
what's motivating you.
When you meet with God, what would you tell him?
I would tell him thank you. If we were not here in those years at that time of this construction boom, I think it would have been difficult for us to A, survive, and B, build a big business. We are now exploring and obviously going all over the world with a similar business model. But I think the UAE had a detrimental role to play, obviously, in terms of how we grew the business where we are and the opportunity that is offered us.
What is your most wanted country in terms of business expansion?
Most wanted country?
Yeah.
Well, I have been all over the world, and I think, honestly speaking, Dubai itself is one of the most wanted countries that anyone should do business in, because it's probably one of the easiest countries to do business in. As a corporate business, you don't have taxes here, where anywhere else you go in the world, you're going to have taxes.
Right.
So I think the government here makes it very, very easy for entrepreneurs to actually focus on the business.
Yeah.
And I think we are already in the place where we would most want to do business. But said that, obviously, henceforward, since we are already here, we are definitely going to other parts of the world. We're going to Southeast Asia. We are already in India. The market that we are now looking most forward to actually move into is the US market.
Yes.
We have a sales office already established over there. We are in the verge of finalizing our manufacturing facility over there.
How do you usually find new clients? This is the number one question for every business.
Sure. Well, locally, we've been here around in the market for a long time, and we have a lot of, feet on the ground here to acquire new businesses. What was very interesting for me, what I learned in about 2007 or 8, was the exploration of actually putting some ad money online.
Yeah.
So working with Google AdWords, putting some search engine optimization money online,
Yeah.
and then suddenly seeing an interest from
Yeah.
countries from around the world that had an interest in your product to import them. That was a new experience for me, and we, because of that investment, we landed up a large business in it was in Russia, and suddenly out of nowhere we've got this business because of online marketing.
Really?
Yes.
What are these guys doing here?
So here we have our ventilation sales. So one of the products that we sell is ventilation products.
Okay.
So this department focuses on selling ventilation products.
I see.
Yeah.
And what are these Dubai ventilation basketball?
So we have, we do, there's some
competitions?
trophies up there.
Yeah.
We do have an inter-company competition between departments every year in Jan. So once a year we start having a competition depending on the sport. So one year it could be basketball, one year it could be soccer, one year it can be volleyball. So we sort of change it up every year, and departments compete with each other to sort of just build some excitement.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there a way there as well?
No, we just have a conference room here.
Alright, let's go have a look. So you usually meet here with your head of departments, or?
Well, it could be anything, right? So we meet here with, we do a monthly general meeting. We meet here, intercompany departments meet here. We have about 4 different locations in the UAE, so it's important for people to come down together and have a chat.
So each of the location is managed by a manager?
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he is coming to you and gives you a report on how,
we meet monthly. We have management meetings monthly. So we start with simply about what are the 3 best things that's happened to you over the last month.
Right.
What are the 3 worst things that's happened to you over the last month? And then some of the struggles and opportunities that you're facing in your part of the business right now.
Right.
And how can we help?
Nice. When was the last time that you rode the metro?
I think I've only ridden it once, honestly speaking. I've heard great things. But this was way in the beginning when they actually launched the metro and the excitement was there. So I did take the metro with my son. I believe it was, I even remember it was probably to one of the larger JETEX exhibitions.
Yeah.
And that was probably the only time I did take it, unfortunately.
Can you tell us how many times per year you can allow yourself to go for vacation?
So I prefer now shorter breaks, but more of them.
For how many days?
Probably a week is my ideal situation for a vacation.
And how often?
How often? About 4 times a year.
4 times a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Is it new places, or you go to some your favorite places?
So usually, let's say in December, we try to go to our favorite place, which is the beach and where we can go scuba diving.
Right.
So this is something we do every year. In the Easter break, we try to be more adventurous. We try to go to new places that we've not been to, whether it's skiing, whether it's another country that we've never been to. And in the summer, it revolves more around, we do a lot of summer camps for the kids. So where they can learn something new, where they can learn something different apart from their typical academic school year. So that revolves around where that is. So my son, I'll give you an example. My son is very enthusiastic about learning more about how to be a pilot, about planes. So we might do a course I might do a camp for him in that, which he probably doesn't have access to in his school. So
right. You were a child and you saw your father doing business. Now you have your own son,
Sure.
and he is looking at his father doing business. What do you think is different, and do you think your son should be in business with you or should not, and what is your idea about this, about his future?
Well, I think, of course, we've talked about this, between the shareholders, between the family, and we feel that it is definitely very important for kids to be out of the business for the first few years after they graduate.
Right.
They get to do their own thing, they go into a different industry.
Just for the sake of experience.
Just for the sake of experience, for sure. And if they really then have an interest to come back into the business or join the business, then obviously, today currently, the business runs with managing directors in the business who are running their own parts of the business. So whether I want the kids to join the business or not, honestly speaking, it is really up to them. I'm not going to push them to join it. If they don't want to, it's fine. They can remain shareholders of the business.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to be executives in the business.
Okay.
Now do they choose that they want to? Obviously, a lot of times because of the emotional, looking up to the emotional levels, they want to join the family business. They are obviously more than welcome, but they have to go through a different path than, let's say, what we went through.
What is happiness for you, and what is unhappiness for you?
I think happiness is having, first of all, a support system from a family and a very happy family around you. I think for me, unhappiness is when you're seeing struggle in life, when you're seeing people around you who are not happy. And I think that, for me, is something that I'm not doing right.
What is success for you?
Success for me is enjoying the journey or wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I think if you're not waking up in the morning and looking forward to the day, you're not successful. And it's not about money. It's about just waking up and looking forward to what you're doing.
When you started doing business, what were your major struggles?
Well, when I started doing business, the business itself was a struggle. It was a tough time. It was a huge learning curve because the business was going through its own issues. It was the weakest financial moments of the business.
Yeah.
It was the brink of bankruptcy for the business in 98, 99, all the way up to 2002. And it took us a few years as a family together to really get out of it. We had to push back a lot. We had to change things dramatically. We had to change our lifestyles, our thoughts on how we were doing things. But it came through. We got together. We made it work.
Do you remember your early days in a company? Like your first day in the company? You're a fresh graduate, you have some knowledge, you have some idea what needs to be done, and your first day, what was it about?
So, I mean, for me, obviously, I knew the business. It wasn't that I came into a business where I was shocked. So it wasn't a shock. It wasn't a shock to my system. It's a family business. We already knew what we were doing. Already knew a lot of the people in the business who were working with us for a long time,
Yeah.
and who had given us their time in the business. So that made it a little bit easier. It wasn't something that I was suddenly coming into, and I didn't know what was happening at all.
Yeah.
What I did know was that we needed to change a few things around for the business to work better and to survive. So I think every day for me was a survival mode. You jumped into the business, and here's a can full of trouble, and now we need to figure it out. We need to be on survival mode on a daily basis so that the business is surviving.
For how long did it last, this survival mode?
All the way up to 2003. So I joined in 99 and up to 2003.
4 years.
Yes. So it was a great learning curve, and that was the best learning curve that I've ever experienced in my life. I think you learn the most in your life in business when when you're down, not when you're up.
Yeah.
When your business is doing well, you in fact become more wasteful. You become more inefficient.
Right.
But I think when you are struggling, you find out every single way to improve your business and become more efficient.
What do you think was the crucial decision that changed the course of the action of going down when you started to feel, yeah, this is the point?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, look, we started changing the business model, as I said, from distribution to manufacturing. I think that definitely.
So the business model.
Yeah, the business model for us. For us, we changed the business model from distribution to manufacturing, and this started looking a lot more opportunistic rather than what we were doing before in trading goods. The other thing was that it was the environment that we were in. I mean, in 2002, you had the Dubai that announced freehold for expatriates. So that was a huge breakthrough for the economy. And I think that's what revolutionized the whole construction boom here. And that was also being at the right place at the right time, and being in a business environment where you're supplying B2B building products in one of the busiest construction markets in the world. I think that was incredible. That was a game changer for us.
Right. Yeah.
Our story of success actually came with obviously UAE. I think being at the right place at the right time. I came into business in 99, struggling business in 99, and then sort of had this opportunity in the construction boom that they had over here in 2002 all the way up to 2009. That construction boom sort of fueled our entire business model.
Right.
It helped us accelerate our manufacturing facilities. It helped us grow our business over here that funded the business regionally. So we became from a UAE business then to a regional business in the Middle East, where we had offices then in Saudi and Qatar and Oman.
How do you manage these people? Do they have KPIs or like?
Yeah, I think everybody here has a KPI, whether it's accounting, whether it's sales, whether it's HR.
Yeah.
So some people think that KPIs can be only plugged in when it comes to more revenue-based models and sales-based. And we have KPIs even for HR. So for example, some of the HR KPIs are, let's increase our cultural mix from 20 nationalities to 25.
Okay.
Let's improve our male to female ratio in the organization from 15 to 20%. So these are the HR KPIs.
Right.
Obviously, the sales-based KPIs are pretty normal across many different fields, and those are very simple.
Yeah.
Accounting have their own KPIs. You know, how to improve our collections, how to improve our receivables in general. So they have KPIs based on those as well.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, all these products can be sold online.
Absolutely.
So you, like many people think they have prejudice that you need to have connections, you need to have some high, like big guys that will cover you and protect you or will be protege of yours. So see, the real story, online, search engine optimization, boom.
Yes, and this was very helpful, not only getting clients from abroad, and the amount of inquiries that we were getting even from the UAE and the Middle East because of that search engine optimization was phenomenal.
Amazing.
So that was a new way of acquiring business for us.
Right. What do you think about digitalization? How do you use it in your business? Do you think it's a trend? It's a future?
I think it is, we're trying to be early adopters in the business for when it comes to digitalization. We've just incorporated on our ERP. We've switched to SAP, which is one of the best systems out there for your backend ERP journeys. We are in the verge of implementing a fantastic CRM implementation at the moment because we want more transparency on our global top line.
Yeah.
On what we are doing right now, though, is on the digital transformation is on smart manufacturing. How do we improve our systems by implementing smart manufacturing? How do we predict machine maintenances before they're even required? How do we reduce workflow steps in a manufacturing plant by having this continuous improvement system through digitalization? So these are all, we're trying to now be early adopters in that in smart manufacturing. It's still at early stages at the moment, even within our industry here in Dubai. But we have a team together who are already looking into it.
Nice, nice. One more question. What would be your advice to those people who are watching us, who are now thinking, should I start or should I not? It's very difficult to become so big like Manish now. What can you tell to these people?
So I think you should, my advice is obviously go for it. From my experience, we had a big challenge. We were doing distribution. Margins were depleting in the business. It was a big change. Should we go into manufacturing? It's like starting a business from scratch back in 2000. And I'm telling you, it was the best decision that we ever made. It's obviously worked for us. Had we not taken that decision, had we carried on doing what we were doing and not taking this challenge or not going for it, we obviously wouldn't have been where we are today.
That was Manish, the founder and the CEO of Hira Industries. Thank you, Manish.
Right.
All right, guys, so now is my favorite part, the giveaway. If you would like to get one of these wonderful caps, you need to subscribe to our channel, to activate the bell, and to write in the comments below the 6 major products that Hira Industries manufactures. And Manish himself will be selecting the winner. Get the #1 step-by-step guide on how to become your own boss in the UAE. You will learn how to start your own business in the UAE. Just click the link in the description below this video and follow this link. This is your time to start. Click the link below this video. Bam!